AI is the best intern in the world. 3 years ago, I was doing production design and I had to learn animation to retain my job. Now I don't have a job anymore, so AI doesn't scare me. Guys at Intel and IFP think I'm some sort of an AI expert. Trust me, I'm one of those users who gets banned from all AIs. Thanks a lot to Intel Core Ultra, this whole event they put together. They sent me a laptop, so it's my favorite laptop from now on. But really, thank you. I did not hope so many people will come for an AI workshop. Perhaps because it's one of the most spoken about topics, and it's also one of the most shunned topics. Like if it's not relevant to your life, you really don't want to know about it, and you don't want to include it into your life because it's just another thing that's going to take up like 2-3 hours of your life. So I'm here to sort of demystify it or simplify it for you because I don't know, guys at Intel and IFP think I'm some sort of an AI expert, but I'm actually not. I'm like a learner. The only reason I'm sort of here today is because for the last 5 years, I've been sitting in front of a computer for 10 hours every day and exploring these things. So maybe some of my insights will help you and ease your life out. And maybe you can add AI into your life as an assistance rather than thinking of it as something that's going to take away your job or it's going to just like change the dynamics of the way you work. Um wow, so that's my one of my artworks, Pink Brain. Please appreciate it. But moving on. So a little about me. I don't know if you guys have heard of me or not. I'll take it like you have never heard of me. I'm an artist. I've been making art and working around design for the last 10, 12 years. I've done a variety of things. I used to run a t-shirt company. I did interior design. I did production design. I did web shows, production design for web shows. I did animation. So I have hopped on to a different line of business literally every year. So when AI got introduced into my life, it didn't really matter to me because 3 years ago, I was doing production design and I had to learn animation to retain my job. And then now I have to probably learn AI to retain my job. Now I don't have a job anymore, so AI doesn't scare me. But overall, for a lot of people who go to work every day, they see themselves becoming redundant. In slowly, they see the market size like falling. I'm not sure. Are there any illustrators out here? Anyone who illustrates? We've got a few. You guys must have noticed how the trend has shifted in the last 2 years and how basically there's no more work out there. I literally get editors sending me CVs, like about 5 to 10 editors every week, which tells me that editing is also sort of becoming redundant. So, as someone who's in their 30s, I have realized that even if I'm 70, I'll still have to work. So I need to become adaptive. I need to change every year. So I'm going to try and help you guys out in a way where AI makes your life easy and probably hence you can monetize it and make your lives a little better. Even if it takes your job, it gives you another job. To tell you a little bit more about myself, I have literally worked with almost all big brands out there. So I kind of know that it is possible to monetize this small skill set even if you acquire over a week or 2 weeks. You don't have to go and do a 1 year course or 2 year course to actually monetize it or make your life easier with this thing. So I hope you get some key takeaways. And if there are any questions, I'll be able to answer it for you guys later on. So my first stint of AI was actually using this app called Polycam. Now it's not particularly an AI product, but it was a product that used AI to make our lives easier. The video that you see on the left is literally a scan of Divine I made in 5 minutes in his vanity van. Like literally 5 minutes. And then we took that scan and used a lot of like AI in pre-production and made the video that you see on the right, which went on to become a part of Bazigar, the music video. So this was my first stint of taking something that was AI related and actually monetizing it. Then I started exploring AI a little bit more. And then these three are sort of videos that took off for me on social media. The first video that you see on the left was essentially a videos of my friends sitting and eating like random things at a table. And I ran it through AI and converted and made a little story out of it. The second video that you see was just exploring, okay, how do different things look in AI? Like if I want to recreate Picasso, how can I do it? And the third thing was actually one of my friends who I used as a model and converted him into this weird looking creature that's going to come on the screen. So the thing is, I always love experimenting, which is what I'm hoping you guys should do too. If there are new tools coming your way, you should experiment with them. What happened with this was there were two, three benchmarks that hit my life after I started exploring AI. One was I made this video called Goat Painters Only. I like to brag about this, so please bear with my like this thing. So Anil Kapoor posted it, and a few days after, he actually went to court and passed an order, got an order passed where no one can use his images, his voice in AI. Which told me, okay, if some big celebrity is going out there and getting rights over this, that means there's business over here. That means they want to monetize it themselves. So this sort of laid ground for me in a way where I was sure, okay, I want to hit AI more and see where all I can add it into my life. Then this was my first monetized piece of campaign with Lenskart that went out, which was literally the same thing I was doing on Instagram as memes, right? It's the same skill set that I was able to monetize. So what you learn as fun can never go to waste. It'll always build on to something else. So if you see an AI tool that looks a little interesting to you, just go hit and make something out of it. Some brand is going to hit you up and would want a video in their thing. Now coming to the main thing, why all of you guys are here, AI and art. The thing is, a lot has happened in the last 2, 3 years where you've seen it being misused, it being used to perfection, it being like really, really killer, it being really, really bad. But it has entered into our lives now. Now you can't, if you're a painter, if you're a writer, if you're a musician, you're going to come to this hurdle where AI is going to enter into your life. Because if you're in the field and you're monetizing it, that means you need speed, you need performance, you need to be fast, you need to basically deliver results much faster than anyone else eventually. But if you're a purist, you can stay away from art, like AI and art for a while, but eventually it will still come to your door. So the best way is for me to sort of use it in my life and include it as much as I can and make the most of it. Till a few years ago, the first time I heard of AI was with these two things. One was DALI and one was Midjourney. I'm sure everyone's heard of it, everyone's used it. Midjourney is a bit complicated because you have to go via Discord, it's a little difficult. But now, once you open the world of AI, there's so many things, right? Like it's just filled with DALI, Stable Diffusion, Pika, Runway. Every second day, something or the other is coming and मतलब क्या करें यही करते रहे पूरे time. One day you're paying for this, one day you're paying for that. But the results are amazing. Few years ago, if you wanted a picture of a lady with an out of focus background, the result on the left would come. Whereas now, since last year, this is what you get. So you can't ignore it. You know it's creating work that is better than yours already. So you need to figure out how to add it into your life. Now, where to start? So I've created this little slide which has helped me a lot. You guys can click a picture of it. It'll make your life easier. Wow. Um, so I'll just go through this slide for you step by step. One is assistance. Okay, AI is the best intern in the world. You cannot hire a better intern for $30 a month. Let's be honest. So include ChatGPT as an assistance into your life. You can give it simple tasks like I have 5 vegetables, what dishes I can make out of it. I have a contract that's come to me, find out mistakes in it. I have a I have a client who's reached out to me, how much should I charge? It's basically the best intern in the world that you can give any tasks to. And it really doesn't feel bad. And trust me, I'm one of those users who gets banned from all AIs. Every AI has banned me. You are banned for 2 hours for using it too much. You've produced too many images, don't use it. So I can safely say it can be used to the T and it'll help you out. Then on images, I'm sure you've seen DALI, you've seen Midjourney. Kriya is an interesting AI where you can real-time edit your images. Like if you want, like say a banana, and then you write a banana, it'll show you a banana. And then you'll write something else, it'll show you that. So it's more real-time. So when you're collaborating with a team and coming up with an idea, you can use it. Then stable diffusion is a bit complicated. You'll have to watch YouTube videos for it. This workshop is not enough. Same for Comfy UI. The last is Adobe. Anyone who has worked on Photoshop will realize now that Photoshop actually does what people thought Photoshop did. Like earlier, people would be like, इसमें से ये हटा दो Photoshop से वो नहीं हटता था तुमको बनाना पड़ता था लेकिन अब actually Photoshop पे जाओ और इस पे बोलो कि make this person bald, it'll make it bald. Make this person with long hair, it'll make it long hair. So it has really upped the game. For video, these two on the top, Runway and Pika are actually very helpful. You guys can literally become a member without even thinking and start making use of it. We'll come to how to utilize it better in a few slides. Then Comfy US Stable Diffusion again. Now, on the right, for people who are a little tech savvy and who are not overwhelmed by just general tech things coming their way, please look out for these two platforms such as Hugging Face and GitHub. All the other platforms that you see on the screen are paid. Whereas on Hugging Face and GitHub, you'll get like a community full of people uploading free softwares for you guys to use. So it'll be very beneficial to keep an eye out. And for upscaling, there's an AI called Topaz. You guys can check it out later. And for music, there are two called Udio and Suno. Really amazing results. Not as good as a human being, but for all of it actually. But at least it's a start. You can build on it. Now, relevance. Why is it important to you? To any of you? I don't know, but I'm hoping most of you guys are related to media and marketing in some or the other way. Are you guys? Cool. So this is sort of relevant for you. One is, I said it again, it's the best intern you'll ever have. The second is, it's the great bouncing board. Now, for this session, I literally wrote, I'm an artist, I'm taking a workshop on AI, breaking down AI for content creation. It's a 15-minute workshop, make a session flow for it. And here I am taking the whole thing. Um, it wasn't the most perfect flow for me. I changed it a lot, but at least sometimes what happens with us guys is every one of you will have one idea, and you'll be like, ye mujhe karna hai, but you'll never do it because it's a split-second decision of how do I do it, where do I start. This way, at least AI gives you one person who's nagging into you. Did you start that? This is the best way to go about it. This is the number that you can take out. And then now if you have an assistant or an intern, they make a design for you, they make something for you, and you're like, nah, ye acha nahi hai. Then they come back with a change. You're like, nah, ye acha nahi hai. But the third time, you have to compromise. You're like, I can't tell them more changes, they're going to charge me more. I can't tell them more changes, they'll feel bad. But AI will never feel bad. So you can like literally be like, make another, make it funny, make another. So it gives you, in 1 hour, it gives you a lot more opportunity to experiment on your idea. Second is variation. Now, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with my content, but these are some characters that I've created. They're called pom-poms, okay? So now what has happened is I started creating them for fun, but brands were interested in them, so they have sort of become my IP. Now everyone comes to me in some or the other way and they're like, we want to license it. But now every time I can't put out a 3D artwork because it takes a lot of time to create a 3D artwork. So how do I create a variation of it? I take one of my characters, some pictures of it. I upload it to like an assistance AI, like ChatGPT. And then I'm like, in this style, give me a monster made out of long fur with a helmet over his face. This is the image it gives out of. Now it's very far from what my characters are, but it's not that far. It's got fur, it's got a helmet. So what I do is I take this image, I take it to Photoshop and I convert and I sketch my character out of it. But in 5 minutes, I have a variation of it that would take someone 2-3 days to make it. You'll hit up an illustrator, you'll be like, okay, I'll give you 15,000 rupees, please make an illustration out of me. Whereas most of our digital use doesn't require heavy work. You can just go to an AI and fix it up for you. Then I was like, okay, let me make it more interesting. And I was like, give me a cartoon style setting burning, make it Mumbai, put Gateway of India, 80s, etc., etc. Then it gave me an image like this. And then I was like, okay, make a logo called Attack of the Pom-Poms. Make it superhero, like a superhero comic. I just made it. And now I have literally an illustration that was made in like 30-40 minutes without even actually opening up a design software to the full T. Now, a lot of people will say this is cheating, right? Like, why aren't you creating stuff from scratch? But the thing is, when you started making stuff on Photoshop, actual painters were calling you cheaters already. Like, this is how the evolution of tech happens, and you have to adapt to it. Like, you cannot, otherwise, what will happen is, I had a lot of friends who were purists, and they were like, we're not going to use social media 10 years ago, and we're like, I don't want to upload my music online, I don't want to upload my art online, I'm just going to stick to galleries. And literally, all of them are broke now. So if you want to see yourself as a thriving career, making money eventually, the kind of money you aspire to, I don't know what all you aspire to, I aspire a lot. So I want to use AI to my benefit and sort of make it quick. Because sometimes, I don't know, how many of you are designers? Like I saw 4, 5, right? Wow, a lot of you are designers. Every time you do a project in which you put your heart in, Does the client accept it? Anything that you actually like, the client does not accept. You eventually make what the client wants. So for stuff like that, AI is amazing, right? As a purist, you don't kill your soul because you don't waste that much time in making something that looks bad. But you use AI to your benefit and give people what they want while retaining your soul in it. The third thing is, this is my favorite part of AI, and I think and everyone should use it. If you have a client, if you are a client, which is feedback. Just go to AI, put your video, audio, whatever, and ask it to roast it. And be like, roast this image. This is the best feedback ever because it tells you what the general person will think about your artwork. AI is a stereotype. AI takes all the readings that are online and gives you a stereotypical image. Like what comes out when you write, make a 30-year-old Indian man? It'll give you a brown man standing on like a railway station somewhere. That's what stereotype is, right, of India. So AI will take the general stereotype and roast it. Now, my roasting wasn't that bad, like you can read it, but I'll read the last line. This looks like a fever dream of someone who binged too many 80s monster flicks while coding all night. Absolutely ridiculous in the best way possible. Now, it wasn't that bad for me. So I was like, I can retain this artwork. If it was terrible, if it roasted my artwork on lighting, if it roasted my artwork on proportions, on the way it looks, then I know, okay, what is the general feedback going to come to me? So roasting is the easiest form of getting feedback out of someone. Because I'll be honest, when you make an artwork, people are so nice to you, they'll never give you an honest feedback. You do anything in your career, they would want to be supportive to you and be like, ye acha hai, this is nice. But deep down inside, everyone's got feedback. So to avoid all of that, just use AI and take general thinking and you can command it. Think like a 15-year-old girl in Mumbai. Think like a 30-year-old man in Kanpur. You can command AI to think like a certain set of audience and give you feedback on your work. Challenges. First is ethical considerations. This is a big one because even I don't have an answer for it, honestly. What do you do when someone's work is being stolen without their permission and run into models and people are creating of it? I mean, lucky for me, I don't have a unique style. Like a lot of my friends like Shantanu, Oshin, these guys have a very distinct style. So they will be really pissed, right? Like, hey man, these people are creating artworks that looks exactly like my style and I can't help it. But I don't have that style, so I can't really say how is that feeling coming out. But my thing is, what can we do? It's like one of the biggest beverages brand coming to you and telling you don't use a plastic straw, use a metal straw. Bro, you've been selling billions of plastic bottles and you've been polluting the ocean. So it's like we're a very small part of taking a decision over here. It's like someone throws a cigarette towards you every day and is like smoking is bad. Like it becomes a moral question for you. You will only retain it till a point. Beyond that, you will have to surrender to the market conditions and eventually start using it. I have a designer in my office. And the whole day he will sit for 9, 10 hours and he'll be thinking of a logo and he'll be like, "Maine ye banaya." And then I was like, make this in AI. And AI will do it better in 5 minutes. Now, my thing is, why is he spending 9 hours making that logo? He could have done AI in the first 15 minutes and then made it his own. My thing is, take it like tools. You're not a painter. You used painting to tell a story. You're not a musician. You used music to tell a story. So, as a storyteller, it's like you were using one software one day and now you're using AI to do it. It shouldn't change the way you make art or you create stuff. In terms of broader ethical considerations, I'm too small to answer that, honestly. Lack of control, yes, this is a very big problem in AI, which all of you will face, which is there is no control in AI. There is, at least till now, there is smaller portions of videos that are being able to, people are trying to add to technology where you can control it. But in the next few years, you'll see a lot more control coming in. So this is actually the time you should hop onto it. So that by the time it's perfect and it has full control, it's not new to you. You're not unfamiliar to it. You don't get scared by it. Most people won't accept it, but softwares really scare them. It has 100 buttons, like what something will go wrong, this and that. So you won't be scared. Start using AI from now onwards. A third is legality. A lot of big platforms like OTTs and channels don't really accept anything that's created in AI as of now because the legal ground of it is very shaky. Say, for example, you make a logo in AI. Now, according to you it's unique, but if it's registered on someone else's name and it's been copied by someone else, then you will fall into trouble. So make sure if there's anything that has legal paperwork, you make it an original. Try and use AI in assistance rather than in final output. And the third is dependence on technology. One thing everyone will have to accept it: AI is not it's not a poor man's game. Eventually, you will need money to invest into machines. You will need money to create stuff in AI. It will be considerably lesser than what you spend right now, but eventually, like Intel Core Power Ultra, so these guys are making like a laptop which is literally doing something that my 12 lakh rupee computer does. So that gap is being bridged, but you still need 1 lakh rupee or something to invest into a machine. So to say it's completely free, it's not. It comes with an investment, but it's reasonable right now. The other thing is, I was schooled like a painter. Then I became a graphic designer. My journey on foundation of basics was still there. If you're someone new and you don't know painting, you don't know Photoshop, you don't know how to use a basic camera like a DSLR, you don't know editing, don't hop onto AI immediately. Learn those basics. Otherwise, you'll always be dependent on AIs for doing stuff, and you will never be able to make a visual similarly. Like today, I can make the same visual in photography, in painting, and in AI. But for you to do that, you also need to learn those basics. So don't be completely dependent on technology, because it's not dependence, it's actually addiction then. What can you do in 50 hours? I'm sure a lot of you work with brands. You guys need films. Some of you are starting your new brands. You need films. Some of you are musicians. You need music videos. Everyone needs videos now. Everyone needs videos to put on their social media. So I made a small music video. One of my friends was very gracious, Swanand Kirkire, to give me a song of his. So I made a small music video, which literally took me 2-3 days to make.
शोरगुल नहीं होगा, नहीं होगा, नहीं होगा मेरी जान। मैं हूँगी, तू होगा, और होगा खामोश आसमान। शोरगुल नहीं होगा, नहीं होगा, नहीं होगा मेरी जान। मैं हूँगी, तू होगा, और होगा खामोश आसमान। मन ही मन में बुदबुदाती एक नदी सी बहा करेगी, अनजानी धुन गुनगुनाती आती जाती हवा रहेगी। तेरी धड़कन क्या कहती है सुनूंगी, तेरे सीने पे रख के कान। मैं हूँगी, तू होगा, और होगा खामोश आसमान। शोरगुल नहीं होगा। फिर सर को झुका के हौले से मैं चूम लूंगी छाँव। मैं हूँगी, तू होगा, और होगा खामोश आसमान। शोरगुल नहीं होगा, नहीं होगा, नहीं होगा मेरी जान। मैं हूँगी, तू होगा, और होगा खामोश आसमान।
Now coming to how this was made. Um So the idea was, okay, I have a song in front of me. How do I make a music video in like 3 days? Practically, it's impossible, right? Like you get a shooting crew, you go out, shoot. It's going to take like a lot of work for a lot of people to actually make this in 3 days. Like even if it was normally short or the reels that you edit. For making 3 minutes, you roughly need about a week of proper preparation, styling and everything. Now, this was just a monkey. There are ways you can actually train your face to become an AI model. It's you can research on it later. You put like 1,000, 2,000 pictures of yours, and that character in the AI will be called by your name. You can literally write, make X do this, and then that face will come. So that is possible right now. The tools that I used was Chat GPT, all of this that you can see on the screen. I'll just take you through. I went to Chat GPT and I wrote, write 1 minute script for me with a prompt for Runway AI to generate videos as well. The story is about a monkey. It gave me like a full story with a breakdown. What do I type on Runway? What prompts to use, etc. Then once you have your story in place, you've read through it, you've improved it, you can take it like a bouncing board. You go to multiple different softwares like DALI, Midjourney, Kriya, and now you start making that story. So the first visual is, say, give me a photo of monkey working on a computer, because that's your premise of the story and that's the last shot. So it gives you something like this. Now you have an image. Anyone can create an image and go out. But how do you actually make it work, right? Like, what is monkey doing over there? Where did he come from? Because you need emotion. You need for him to look around and stuff. So you go to Photoshop and you basically remove it. Like, you just select and you type remove and it'll remove the monkey for you. Now you have two images. So this is a variation of your visual that you'll have to create. So you think of, say you want to do a bank robbery. What are you going to show? First, you're going to show a safe and like a person outside of it. And then you're going to show the safe that is broken, right? Like, you're going to show that A to Z. So you have to decide what is your A to Z. Once you've done that, you go to Photoshop. First, you take it from like an AI, like a Mid Journey. Then you take it to Photoshop, make your variation, and then you take it to Runway. Now, Runway gives you an opportunity to add a first and a last frame. Once you do that, you literally have a footage. Slowly and slowly, you'll see if you wanted to do 30 scenes, you took out 60 images, and now you have 30 shots that you can use for your film. Then you create a lineup on After Effects, like a normal editor. You can use like a movie magic. You can literally do this on Instagram Reels as well. And then you take the output to like a video enhancer. Now, most of the AI output that comes is like in 720p. It's like very low resolution. You can't really use for brands. But this AI called Topaz Labs, you can buy a subscription for it and it can upscale a 720p resolution video for you to 4K. So that way is what happens is what something that was not usable for you suddenly becomes commercial viable to actually go out and sell. So this is pretty much it from my end. Would love to hear if you guys have any questions.
So I have two questions. The first one is I make comics. So I write comics. I'm usually limited by my availability of my illustrator. But how can I scan my character as the template has been created? The character looks a certain way. But if I give an AI prompt, make a superhero that looks so, it always comes out different. So how can I recreate the character that already exists in my comics in AI?
Hmm.
That's my first question.
So see, one way to do it is to train your model onto it. That you'll have to study more about LoRa models and primarily learn stable diffusion because it allows you to do that. On Runway as well and on a few other softwares, there's a model maker. You can upload 1,000 images and that model. So if you've made comics, if you have 1,000 illustrations of your character, you can create a model out of it. But the best way to do it would be, I would suggest, make A to Z by hand and the rest of it use there are multiple AIs like EBX that run locally on your machine that can fill in the gaps for you. Otherwise, for variations, if you want to create variations out of a single image, use Photoshop. That's actually way more helpful. It'll retain the same style for you.
And my second question is, I think you did a collaboration with Rana Dagubati, which was
Yeah.
called Why Are
Why are
You?
you? Yeah.
How long did it take for you to create an episode of that? Because it looks like a lot of work. And are we going to get a new episode anytime soon?
We actually are working on a film for Why Are You, but I don't know when that's going to come out because I'm working on it. So I work very slowly on my personal projects. But that was created, we created 20 minutes of animation in about a week for each episode. That was created all by hand. But at that time, AI wasn't so in our lives, like it wasn't accessible to us. But now I'm sure when we do the second version of it, you'll see a lot more AI used footage in it.
Hello? Yeah. I'm a design student. I have been able to use AI in my work efficiently. My client is happy, my professors are happy, I'm getting the output, I'm getting money for it. It's great. But there's this guilt attached every time I submit the work that I am transparent about the usage of AI, but there's this guilt that does not feel like me, this does not feel honest.
Hmm.
And um, I mean, as a designer, the client needs to be happy, right? They are happy with it, but I'm not happy with it. So, what are your thoughts on
I
that?
mean, I would say go with your gut feeling always. See, imagine you work in an office where there are four designers, okay, and each of them have their own style. One person is very overpowering in saying what they want to say, but their design sense is not really cool with you. Whatever design goes out will be a consensus design. So always use AI as like a support staff. If everyone's happy, that means there's something wrong with the design. Honestly, like you should get some hate first. You should get like that. That's where the emotion of your design will actually come out. But I would say if it's not feeling right for you, that means it's not right. So go with your gut feeling and just use AI as a tool. Don't let it overpower what you actually want to create. A lot of times, say when we create illustrations, they look imperfect, whereas an AI will create and it'll look perfect. But that imperfection is what it makes it cool. If it was perfect, then it would be like any other thing.
I have the frames for a video that I'm working on, and I want to fill in the gaps, and I want to color it, I want to refine it.
Hmm.
So, what are some either free or low cost apps that I could use
So
to do
you
that?
have like a starting frame and an ending frame per se. You can use Runway. You could try Runway as a tool. You could do multiple variations of it. You could use just the first frame. You could use just the last frame and the first and last both. So try Runway ML for it. You might have to like subscribe to it, but it shall animate like the way it'll retain your style is what I'm trying to say.
So a lot of creators, I think they have this gap between what their vision is and what their skill level is. And then AI is such a fantastic tool because it has the database of like the entire internet, anything you want to feed it, which is why it can help you bridge that gap. But I was wondering, where do you think you could draw the line between creators becoming over reliant on using AI as a tool where instead of simply using it as an assistant to their own work, you know? So how to stop it from overpowering your own creativity or your own stories? Because I've seen a lot of cases where because of AI, you know, people forget how to format an email because you can just ask ChatGPT, you know, write this email. So that is a very basic example, but I feel like that would extend a lot while doing creative work, especially as AI grows in the future. So
I
what are your
mean, see,
thoughts on that?
honestly, this is like it's like smoking as a habit. Okay, no one is ever going to stop you from doing it. It's not even wrong, to be honest. But eventually, it'll fall flat on its face because you'll become like everyone else. See, most people in our creative field get work for who they are because you are hardworking, you have a certain sense of aesthetics, you fit well into the crowd. I'm sure like people can use AI for everything, but why do they still do hire people, right? The thing is, a lot of my clients have told me to stop using AI because they can read through it. Anyone who reads an email on a daily basis can literally say this is written by ChatGPT, this is created by Midjourney. Sooner or later, this difference is going to be very visible. Like until unless you have a certain sense of storytelling and style, no one's going to come to you because what AI can do, they can do it themselves. But what can you do using AI? You should always take AI like, okay, say for example, you know how to paint, you know how to click photographs, you know how to make a film, you know how to make music. Now you know how to use AI also. Take it like another line of tools for you. If it's overpowering your work, that means you need to be in control of it. Anything can overpower your work. This is a lot. This is a big problem for people who make art for social media. I'm one of them, honestly. I'm standing here because last few years I was doing a lot of postings and stuff. The thing is, when you are making art, you make it for yourself. But when you make entertainment, you're making it for others. That's when things start overpowering what you're making. Till the time you're making it for yourself, it'll never feel like I'm letting AI do my job. It's overpowering my job. It's only when you see results only with AI art. Say, for example, you put your artwork, no one is liking your post. You put AI artwork, everyone's like sharing it, it's a massive hit. So for entertainment, AI works better. But for you as an artist, it doesn't. And if you're having that feeling, it's more of an emotional feeling than actually like impending on your work. Like it's not affecting your work as much. It's just like, in a way, making you feel bad. It's like peer pressure. It's nothing else. So if you think AI is overpowering your work, just don't use it. But the minute you're making something, think about how you can use AI to better what you're making. Like if you're painting, can you use, I know a lot of big artists who charge like lakhs and lakhs for their art installations, but their first art installation idea came from a mid-journey image. So is that ethically right, according to you?
I don't know if I'm the right person to answer that question.
That's what I'm saying. There is no line. The line is what you draw. What is, see, sometimes when you know you're copying someone's work, you know you're copying their work. There is no gray area over there. It's black and white. So if you think AI is overpowering your work, stop using it. If it's not, then continue to use it as your strength.
So as far as using AI in creative practices which are tech heavy by default, for example, editing or storyboarding for that matter, is one thing. But what do you think, or how do you think AI affects creative practices which are more in the physical space? So performing arts, theater, things like that. How do you see these two things integrating, or how can practitioners of such physical performing arts maybe be affected by AI in good or bad ways, both?
I mean, see, one thing is, it is way sort of it imagines things that you can't. So say for example, I'll take it like as a case study, I'll take a dancer. Okay, they have a group, they perform, they go and do multiple different things. Now dancing, apart from the art form, it's a performance art, right? Like how does the set look, how does the lighting look, what costumes will go with it. So take like it's anything that's a paraphernalia to your main performing art can be resolved with AI. Say for example, theater folks don't have a lot of budgets for posters. Now you can see posters are getting improved because now they can use AI very freely. Like I remember one of Kausar Muni's album art is actually is an AI image made by Swanand. So I'm not saying it's gonna help you in your core art form, but the rest of the other stuff where you spend half an hour every day, 1 hour every day, sitting with a person, explaining them something, which is still relevant. Like say for a musician, their poster matters. It matters how their stage looks. It matters how the video footages are gonna come out. So over there, AI will help you close a lot of loops. It'll try and bring uniformity to your work in a way.
I was just curious as to how the artificial intelligence might affect it negatively. Maybe does it like replace it altogether, or is there a gap over there that AI can fill, or these two things like absolutely different, which don't really coincide?
I mean, I think that's also a very broader spectrum of AI. I sort of focus more on the visual part of it, where it can help you out or ease your life as an assistance in a way. But to answer like how it can help athletes or how it can help, say, marathon runners, that's something like that's like I think out of what I even comprehend what AI is to me.
What's your current frustration with storytelling in India?
Uh, Very difficult to say the truth in the most real way. You have to wrap it up in a different way. A lot of perception has taken over. Like if you've perceived something to be B, but it's A, it becomes B if 10 lakh people perceive it to be B. So it's just that's a bit frustrating in a way. AI is like a very smart thing till a point, and then it becomes like really stupid. Like you will give it a paragraph, and it's gonna give you completely something completely opposite, right? So the best way to tackle it is to simplify what you're saying. Mostly, I've realized what I am typing is sort of deviating AI. So take it like what you're explaining to AI is not clear enough. So say, for example, throughout this whole film, the monkey one, my prompts were very simple: monkey waking up, monkey doing this. And I kept making as many renditions as possible to get the perfect one. But anytime I added something else, it just ruined it for me. So honestly, that's the lack of control that is a big challenge in AI right now. But the best way to do it would be to refresh the whole cycle. Start your thought from fresh. Maybe you can reword it in a way. You can like change your point of view of what you're seeing your visual as. Say, for example, there was one visual of the monkey looking into the camera and being evil. That's actually a reverse video. I made an image of a monkey looking into the camera, and then the last image was of it working on the laptop. So sometimes you have to spoon feed it, but take it like maybe I can explain it better to AI if you're at a roadblock like that. Say if your stepping stone, if 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 your prompt has cyberpunk in it, that's what you're gonna get. So a lot of artworks that you see online are also inspired artworks where people like try and like be like some other person and create artwork. So it sort of stems out of that. But even today, you can use AI to create a lot of variety of artworks, especially Illustrator and Photoshop, because their benchmark for, say, you feed in A, it'll give you a B, and then you feed in C, it'll give you a D, and then so on and so on. So I don't think that's an AI thing. It's a trend thing that you're seeing right now. Until and unless you have a certain sense of storytelling and style, no one's going to come to you, because what AI can do, they can do it themselves. But what can you do using AI? Take it like another line of tools for you. If it's overpowering your work, that means you need to be in control of it.